I always believed that staying quiet was the smartest way to survive a dysfunctional family. Turns out, it just makes you the most convenient target. My name is Judy Simmons, and I was the invisible daughter in a house where my older brother Max was the son. My brother Max was the one with potential. He could fail a class, crash a car, or set the backyard grill on fire, and still get praised for being creative. Meanwhile, I got scolded for reading at the dinner table. At 16, Max got a brand new car. I got a lecture about independence and a second-hand bicycle with one brake and a wobbly wheel. Mom always said, Max just needs support. Dad would sigh and say, "You're the reliable one, Judy." Translation: Max was the investment. I was the insurance policy. By 24, I had my own apartment and a quiet IT refurbishing business. I fixed and resold tech. No drama, no debt, no one relying on me except clients. I worked weekends, built credit, and ran every dollar through a spreadsheet. I wasn't flashy, but I was free. Max dropped out of business school after 3 semesters and announced he was launching a brand. That meant buying followers, printing a dozen hoodies with King Energy across the chest, and calling himself a visionary. The ask came on a Saturday night lasagna night at my parents' house. Mom's signature brick of overbaked noodles. We were all seated when Max leaned back, swirling his wine like he was about to announce a merger. "So, Judy," he said smoothly, "you're doing well, right?" I gave him a slow look. "Define well." "You've got the business. Clients. Savings." He said savings like it was a personality flaw. Mom was already smiling. "I was thinking," Max continued, flipping his phone around to show me mock-ups. A half-built Shopify page. A pitch deck that looked like it was typed during rush hour traffic. "Maybe you could help fund my next drop. I just need a little boost. 20 grand. I'll pay you back after launch." I laughed. Not bitter. Not cruel. Just honest. "You want $20,000? You'd be investing in family," he said. "You spelled fulfillment wrong in your pitch deck." Dad reached for garlic bread like this was normal. Like this wasn't absurd. "He's just asking," Mom said gently. "No need to get defensive." "Defensive?" I said no to bankrolling a delusion. Max leaned forward. "I'm asking because I trust you. You're the one who always fixes things." That part stung. Because it was true. After dinner, I sat on the patio with my laptop, fixing a payroll issue for a non-profit client. Max plopped down beside me, beer in hand. "You know," he said, "it's kind of selfish to hoard money when you could help someone grow. You think hoodies with King Energy is growth? Entrepreneurs take risks. Then take your own." He scoffed. "You're always so uptight. That's why people don't invite you out." Then he reached over, picked up my open laptop, held it over the pool. "Max," I said, standing slowly. He grinned. "Relax. It's just a joke. It's not funny. Let's see if you can still work after a little baptism." And he dropped it. The splash hit before the rage did. My $1,400 machine sank like the Titanic. The screen flickered underwater. My client's admin panel vanished beneath chlorine and stupidity. Max shrugged. "Oops." Dad came outside. "What happened?" "Max destroyed my work computer." "It was an accident," Max cut in. "Don't make a scene." Dad looked at me with that tired expression I'd known since childhood. "We'll deal with it later." Later never came. I fished it out in silence. Water dripped from the keyboard like it was bleeding out. Mom didn't even step outside. I drove home with it on the passenger seat. Seatbelt fastened across it like it still mattered. In my kitchen, I laid the dead laptop on the counter like a body in a morgue. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't text in paragraphs. I just stared at the spreading puddle and whispered, "Okay." By Monday morning, I'd ordered a replacement using overnight shipping. I paid $42 to have my backup drive scanned, recovered invoices, contracts, server credentials. Max thought he'd hit delete on my livelihood. What he didn't know was I had 2-factor authentication on everything. And he had just triggered a chain reaction. That night, I opened a fresh legal pad. At the top, I wrote, "Lockout Protocol." I listed every account we still shared out of convenience or habit. Our parents' Amazon Prime. The shared Netflix. Spotify Family Plan. Old iCloud family sharing. The Wi-Fi mesh network I installed at 19 under my admin account. I circled each one. Beside each, I wrote a single word, revoke. Max had always mistaken my silence for submission. He thought because I didn't scream, I didn't calculate. But I had spent the last 6 years building systems. He threw a tantrum and sacrificed my laptop. I was about to sacrifice his access to comfort. And I was going to do it quietly. It started small. On Tuesday night, I removed Max from the family Netflix account. No warning. No announcement. Just gone. At 10:12 p.m., the family group chat lit up. Max, Netflix down for anyone else? Mom, works fine here. Dad? I didn't respond. Wednesday morning, I downgraded the Spotify family plan to a personal account. I imagined him at the gym, mid-set, suddenly interrupted by an ad for allergy medication. Thursday, I deactivated the Hulu login, the one he bragged about still using at his ex-girlfriend's apartment. The thought of him staring at a buffering error screen gave me a strange, quiet satisfaction. None of it was loud. None of it was dramatic. It was just removal. On Friday night, I logged into the mesh router dashboard at my parents' house. I renamed the Wi-Fi network from Simmons Family to Max_me_20K. Then I changed the password. At exactly 9:47 p.m., my phone buzzed. Dad, Judy, Wi-Fi is down. Can you fix it remotely? Me, it might be a connectivity issue. Maybe ask Max to manifest better signal. Dad, Judy, be serious. Me, I am. Silence. By Sunday, Mom called. You need to stop this, she said, like I was flipping tables. Stop what? Managing my own accounts. Max says you're sabotaging him. I let out a soft laugh. Sabotage would require effort. I'm just not subsidizing him anymore. He's stressed. So was I when my laptop sank to the bottom of your pool. She exhaled sharply. Don't escalate. I didn't argue. Instead, I opened my browser and pulled up Max's business domain, the one I'd helped him register 3 years ago when he needed someone with a legitimate credit score. I logged into the DNS panel, redirected it to a new page. White background. Black text. For 04. Accountability not found. The next morning, Max woke up to 18 password reset prompts, 6 streaming service errors, a dead Wi-Fi signal, and a Shopify store pointing customers toward digital sarcasm. He called me. I let it ring. He left a voicemail. Judy, hey. I think someone hacked my stuff. Can you check it? He still didn't get it. He still thought I was the fixer. When he called again, I answered. No one hacked you, I said. Then why is everything locked? Because you're not entitled to my keys anymore. Silence. You're kidding. You dropped my work laptop in a pool. It was a joke. You killed 5 years of archives and smiled. This is petty. No, I said evenly. This is boundaries. That afternoon, I stopped by my parents' house to drop off a tax form Mom needed. Dad was waiting. You've been messing with Max's accounts. I've been managing mine. You locked him out of PayPal. I removed myself. He says his site's down. Sounds like a hosting issue. Did you change the Wi-Fi? I upgraded security. You're welcome. He rubbed his temples. Why are you doing this? Because no one else ever holds him accountable. Because every time he broke something, I was handed the glue. Because you never once asked if my files were salvageable. I paused. I'm done being the safety net. Mom stepped into the kitchen. She just wants peace. Then raised diplomats, I replied softly. Not demolition crews. Neither of them answered. That night, Max escalated. He tried logging into the shared PayPal business account, the one we'd set up years ago for his first hoodie drop. It prompted, account disabled due to suspicious activity. He called immediately. Judy, I need access. My merchant account's frozen. I removed my name. You can't just. I can. And I did. Mom says you're being extreme. Mom says a lot of things. He lowered his voice. You're ruining my launch. You ruined my work machine. That's different. No, I said. It's not. But the real shift came later that evening. An unknown number called. I almost ignored it. Is this Judy Simmons? Yes. This is Emily from Veritas Credit. We're following up regarding the Simmons Merchants LLC account. My stomach tightened. There's an outstanding balance of $4,221.65 tied to unpaid manufacturing fees. I went still. Your name is listed as primary on the original registration. Of course it was. 3 years ago, when Max needed a cosigner, I was the responsible one. I was always the responsible one. After I hung up, I didn't panic. I made coffee. Pulled up the original LLC filing. There it was in bold. Managing partner, Max Simmons. Registered agent and co-founder, Judy Simmons. Which meant legally, I was liable. I opened a new folder. Named it Legal Fire. Screenshots. Emails where Max wrote, "No worries, sis. I got it covered, LOL." Bank statements. The original unpaid invoice. This wasn't revenge anymore. This was protection. And Max had no idea the worst consequence wasn't the Wi-Fi. It was paperwork. I barely slept that night. Not because I was panicking. Because I was calculating. $4,221.65. That was the number Max had quietly stacked under our shared LLC while calling it a temporary hiccup. By 7 a.m., I had coffee in one hand and the articles of organization on my screen. There it was in black and white, Judy Simmons, registered agent. Judy Simmons, co-founder. Translation: if he didn't pay, they would come for me. At 9:14 a.m., I called him. He answered immediately. "You got the call too?" he asked. "So you knew." "It's not a big deal. It's $4,000. I was gonna pay it. You used my name. You said we were partners. That was 3 years ago." He hesitated. "You've got savings. You're fine." The entitlement in that sentence snapped something clean inside me. My savings are not your emergency fund. Come on, Judy. Don't go nuclear over this. I inhaled slowly. This isn't nuclear. This is maintenance. I hung up. By noon, I was at the county clerk's office filing formal dissolution paperwork for the LLC. $25. 15 minutes. Years of misplaced trust folded into a stamped document. Next stop, the bank. I removed my name from every tied account. Then at 3:47 p.m., I sat across from a lawyer named Kayla Jensen. Sharp eyes. Minimal patience. "Do you have documentation?" she asked. I slid the folder across the desk. Emails. Screenshots. Invoices. Texts where Max wrote, "I got it covered. Relax." She flipped through once. Then she smiled. "You have leverage." By 5 p.m., she drafted a debt liability transfer request to the credit agency, attaching proof that Max authorized the order, used his company card, and failed to notify me of outstanding balances. She also sent him a formal letter. Signature required. That evening, Dad called. "I hear you involved a lawyer." "Yes." "That's extreme." He attached debt to my name. I'm sure he didn't mean. Intent doesn't erase impact. Silence. Your mother's upset. She's always upset when Max isn't happy. You're burning bridges. I stared out my apartment window at the city lights blinking steadily, predictably. "I'm not burning anything," I said. "I'm just stepping off a bridge that only went one way." 2 days later, Max went quiet. No stories. No motivational quotes. No king energy. Which meant something had finally hit. Then Thursday morning, a thin envelope arrived. Veritas Credit. I opened it carefully. Debt liability transfer approved. Max Simmons, sole responsible party. I exhaled. Not relief. Release. That afternoon, Mom texted, "You've made your point. But blood is blood." I stared at the message, then typed, "Passwords change. So do priorities." 3 weeks passed. Then a package arrived. No return address. Inside was a Ziploc bag. Inside that, my old laptop. Still warped. Still cracked. Chlorine stains ghosting the keyboard. A sticky note taped to the screen read, "Yeah, I owe you one." No apology. No accountability. Just acknowledgement. I didn't laugh. I didn't cry. I placed it on a shelf in my office, not as a wound, but as a warning. Because here's what Max never understood. I didn't ruin his life. I removed myself from it. I stopped co-signing chaos. Stopped funding immaturity. Stopped confusing loyalty with liability. He thought I'd changed. But I hadn't. I just stopped being the reliable daughter who cleaned up after everyone else's mess. Sometimes the loudest statement you can make isn't a scream, it's the silence of walking away. Judy didn't destroy her brother. She simply stopped building her life around his chaos. And in doing so, she finally built something he could never touch, her peace.